One time for your mind, two times for the grind. Watch out.
Wave Report. This Tremonte, one third of the Wave Report, one third of Dark Matter. I'm here with my brother, Sharon. He'd like to act shy now because he's on the camera.
Not at all.
Hey, so very few people make it out of the hood, right?
Okay.
What guided you to this point in your life? How were you one of the few who were able to survive and not succumb to the pressures of the environment that we grew up in?
Okay, so
Well, you kind of did. So.
yeah, our brother
Levi.
Levi,
Mm-hmm.
he was murdered when he was like 17, 18, something like that. So I think that was my first experience with like death. Nobody in my family had died at that point, and I think as humans sometimes we don't actually realize that death is final or whatever. So people kind of just go throughout life, do reckless shit, whatever the case is. And for me, I saw a person at 14 when I met him that was like comfortable in his own skin. I remember we was in high school and this nigga had on like corduroy jeans with flip flops on and two chains, and I thought it was the lamest shit in the world. But for him, it was like, yo, B, this is how I motherfucking dress. I don't give a fuck what none of them say. You know what I'm saying? So it showed like confidence in yourself despite what your community said is cool, right? So for me, I think that seeing somebody so young be so confident in themselves, as well as understanding that the stuff that's going on around you ultimately can influence you, but it's up to you to make a conscious effort to say, look, we cool, we homies, we grew up in the same neighborhood, whatever, but this is my life. And unfortunately for him, he was around people that, one, didn't value him, because if they did, he wouldn't have been in that position. And two, it's one of those things where I look at it like, I got dreams, you got dreams, and I don't feel like anybody's is bigger than anybody else's. And I feel like for me, that he's always been my inspiration. Like, death is like a real thing, and I can get up every day, thank God that I'm still here, but I still remember like his energy, and I've kept that like going despite me being in the streets myself, something that he was never really into. I was able to survive that. You know, stuff that we won't talk about on camera, but you know, like things that I've done that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I think ultimately it made me the man I am today, and I don't really regret any of it. If I could do some things different, you know what I'm saying, I may, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, they say you can take the hood out of nigga, you can't take the nigga out the hood, and I think that rings true. So it's about, you know, making a conscious effort to control your emotions when you're in situations that could potentially put yourself in jeopardy. So,
what advice would you give to young people coming up, especially young black men coming up, just like how we did?
Man, I would
to
say,
avoid the pitfalls that we fell into.
Yeah, that hood shit is not worth it, man. Like, you know, I was one of those cats that I wasn't really scared to run down on a nigga if it came to that, or you know, whatever, however you want to slice it. Your emotions is like a real thing, and like your mental and the way that you perceive situations, whether it be disrespect, happiness, whatever the case is, you have to make a conscious effort to say, look, if I go this way, it might go wrong or whatever. And I think like we know that, but these rules in the hood don't allow you to be the person that you want to be. Like for me, I was raised by a gay man, right? A lot of people don't know that about me. And in high school, as you know, people would question my sexuality because I was raised by a gay man. I was like, I still sold drugs, did all that wild shit. I ain't never been bullied, none of that. And simply for the fact that I just accepted gay, lesbian, straight, transgender as a nigga in the hood, people wanted to try me. Whatever. It never went the way that they thought it was gonna go. But nonetheless, it was one of those things where it's like, bruh, I can't help that my uncle raised me. Like, why do I care who he's sleeping with or what my cousin doing or this person or that person? So I think once you like love yourself and you realize like, this is my life, I'm taking ownership of it, and I'm gonna do the necessary things, put the right people around me to accomplish my goals, then none of that shit matter.
Yeah. Hey, tell them before we end. Tell them how we met. Now go live.
How we met? How we met? So we was in what, like 10th grade or something like that.
And was in 11th grade.
Yeah, 10th
computer
11th
class.
grade. Yeah, we was in computer class, and this is around the time when 50 Cent first came out. So, you know, there was this argument going on in class who was better, 50 Cent or Nas.
Right.
And I always used to look at him crazy, like, man, this Dominican looking nigga, like he had the cuts in the eyebrow with the waves and shit going on back in the day. I used to want to fight him just looking at him, because we were still in the hood. So I knew he was from Central Park. I'm from West Tampa. We had ran down on a couple niggas out there back in the early 2000s. so he said Nas, right? And I was like, I got respect for the Central Park niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because it was cats like legit. It was like maybe 15 students in the class.
Like 50
About
Cent.
13 of them was
Cent.
like 50 Cent was better than Nas.
Yeah.
In what hip hop world is 50 Cent ever been more skilled than Nas? If you haven't heard Illmatic, go listen to it, right? So it was just like one of those things where I think we clicked, because at least I knew we might not be from the same community, but the nigga is some type of smart or whatever.
It was us two versus the class. I remember.
Pretty much. It was just us.
Just
Everybody, oh yeah, 50. And it was, we had, I think it was Myron.
Yeah, it was
in
Myron.
class. He was like a gangster in the classroom. First time, we wasn't even supposed to be in school. He was so good. You know, he was just like one of those. He had goals in his mouth at 14, tattoos, all type of wild shit. Used to bully niggas, take their money, all that. He ain't never tried us, but nonetheless, I think people were agreeing with Myron because they was just scared of the nigga. Like, yeah, man, 50 Cent better than us. Shit, I mean, I don't know what the fuck y'all niggas talking about. You heard that candy shop? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing. So,
Hey, yeah.
But yeah, that's there. And then ever since then, you know what I'm saying? We pretty much been kicking it. So. Yeah.
We like blood. So I just wanted to get my brother on. I'm spilling all this on me, man. Get my brother on the cam real quick, because he been saying he wanted to have a session. So thank you, my man. Wave report. We out.
I say, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Joe Waters, aka
Mercy. Are you okay?
I'm waiting for people to come in.
There's nobody in yet.
So tell you what we wanted to do today is we wanted to continue a great series that Tremonte and his wife started by doing what we call the Wave Report Love and Marriage episodes. So this episode is going to be myself, which once again, my name is Joe Waters, aka
Out in outer space. Oh my god.
I'm messing with y'all. You know what I mean? And this is my beautiful wife, Lala. Lala, say hi to the people.
Hi.
Don't play shy. We're going to start talking in here. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of the shows. You know what I mean? So, got a couple of topics we'll talk about. If y'all drop some questions in here, we'll try to make a little run to get through a few of them. You know what I mean? So, appreciate everybody watching. Make sure y'all follow us at the Wave Report 813, which you already are because you're watching this. So let's jump right into it. Lala, beautiful woman that has my heart.
Thank you.
We share an amazing life together, right? Mm-hmm. However, sometimes within marriage, people can lose themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not lose yourself within marriage? How do you stay an individual?
I don't believe in that term, you complete me. You have to complete yourself, I think. You have to be fulfilled and have your own individual happiness, I think.
Okay.
And I think that it's easy to be sometimes consumed by your partner, especially if you are a people pleaser, like I am, and I want everybody to be happy and a problem solver. But I think that you have to make sure you have your own individual happiness, and that you feel as though you are complete with yourself. And even if, say for instance, God forbid, your partner was to pass away, you don't want to feel as though you've lost everything because you don't have that person with you anymore. So you have to make sure you're fulfilled within yourself. So
that's a fact. I agree with you fully. Being together with you, such a beautiful person, one of the things that I've learned, that we've probably learned together, is that you have to add to each other, but you can't take away the value. You can't take away like the inner person. Like, I want to be the best person that I can be to make you happy, but I don't want to no longer see Joey within that pursuit, and I don't want you to do the same thing either, which is something that I love. Now, we've been together for a while. Mm-hmm. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but if, when you go through life experiences, it puts you in a position where you can kind of be an OG to people. Like, you can kind of, let's say we see a new couple get together, a young couple get together. What would be some advice you would give to them? Let's say we met like a young adolescent, just like us, 18, 19 years old when they meet. What type of advice would you give to young couples?
Are you talking about young couples that are like engaged couples, or just dating, or what do you mean exactly?
Somebody,
or they're a young married couple? Like, what is it exactly? Because you're gonna give different advice per the circumstance.
Give me all three. So young and dating, young and dating. What type of advice would you give them?
Be fully aware of what you want in a partner before you commit to someone.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of times people get in a relationship, and then before they know it, they're married or whatever the case, or have a child, and then you're with this person and you're like, oh, what did I sign myself up for?
If I meet somebody that's young and dating, I'm going to tell them, don't listen to Tremonte. Wrap it up, B. Use condoms, B. If you can't wait till marriage, wrap it up, B.
Yes,
you don't need to be like Tremonte out here. Be free stroking out here. You don't want to be like that guy. Don't do that, B. Wrap it up. Because then you be out here with a baby and all of that. You know what I mean? It's a blessing. But wrap it up, B. Wrap it up. You don't need a baby mama, B. Get a wife first. Feel me? So, young and engaged. What type of advice would you give to a young and engaged couple?
Young and engaged?
Mm-hmm.
Go to counseling. Couples counseling.
Facts.
Have a lot of patience for what's to come, especially if you go from living at home to then just living with someone. Like, you didn't go to a dorm or live by yourself or anything, because it's a total difference between going from living at home to living with a person or whatever. So lots of patience, be prepared to compromise, and that's probably the biggest two things. So in like a newly engaged couple, I would say.
To a newly engaged couple, I would say, wrap it up, B. You know what I mean? You don't want to be out here with a kid.
You're already engaged.
No, son, because then people going to be like, oh, you only got engaged because she was pregnant. You feel me? If you can't wait till marriage, wrap it up.
Engaged? What are you talking
Nah,
about?
listen.
You said they were already
if you're engaged, the greatest advice I could really give you is recognize that the person that's going to walk or see his bride walk down an altar, and the person that you are at the moment that you take a knee to propose, they have to be different people. Meaning you have to, there's so much you have to discover about yourself within that time frame, because there's a transition from being a single man to being a boyfriend, from a boyfriend to a husband. That transition within your counseling, I hope that you're getting it, but within your counseling, please test yourself. Because I'm just gonna be honest, you don't ever want to make the decision to say, hey, I'm going to give up. If there's any give up within you, you got to check that. You have to check that at the door. If you don't feel like you can have communication with your partner, you got to check that at the door. There's things about you that you still have to work on before you get to that wedding day. Most dudes hate the process of, okay, we're gonna have a wedding. Yeah, it's a lot of money, it's this, that, and the other. But you got to prepare beyond that. You got to see beyond that. While she's happy for it, within that time frame, you got to learn and look in the mirror and challenge yourself and look at the ugly in you. So that way, when it's time, you're ready for it. You got to be ready for it. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, but you got to be ready for it.
I think there was some questions in there.
That was the one we're talking about right now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was something else.
So last one would be, what advice would you give to a young married couple?
Probably the same thing. Also,
what was that?
Patience and compromise. Be prepared to compromise. Talk about how, if you all plan on having children, how you plan on raising your children, disciplining them. All of those things are very important.
Very much.
Because that can be like a deal breaker for some people. And I don't know, I guess. I think you learn in your relationship. So you can give people advice, but you don't live their life, right? So I could take advice from whoever, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm the only person that wakes up to him every day. So if you don't live our life, we can take your advice and, whatever, but until you live it, it's hard to really, I guess, take someone else's advice to heart if they're not living, a very comparable lifestyle to ours.
The one thing I can say though, I agree with the patience fully. You know how many times I've had to take a deep breath, and you know how many times she's had to take a deep breath. Patience is key. When you walk in, if you're the one, every house has this certain delegation, right? So if you have this delegation, you're going to feel me on what I'm about to say. Let's say your delegation is you have to clean the dishes. It will drive you crazy if you don't have patience. If you come and look at the dishes and they're not washed, somehow the sponges are in the sink, small little things like that'll piss you off. Now at the same time, it drives her crazy. I wash clothes, I put them in the dryer, but that little lint thing, we gotta take the little lint out, I don't never clean it, B. So she be like,
it causes a fire.
You understand what I'm saying? Those little things, you think there's nothing. It's laughable when you think about it, but I never clean it out. And she always never washes the dishes, but then she drops the joint right in there. And I walk in the dish tank, and I'm like, yo, why is there a sponge in here? But you gotta check that. That's something you gotta check right at the door. Now, we share a beautiful young child. Now, for people who don't know, our son Caleb is autistic. And that comes with a few challenges, but that comes with a few blessings as well. Lala, would you like to share some of the biggest blessings that comes with having a child with special needs?
The biggest thing for me is he's taught me to have patience with him. Patience in life in general, but patience with him particularly. Also, what else? I was gonna say not in reference to his autism, in reference to his epilepsy, it's taught me to appreciate him more. I think sometimes we take people in general for granted, particularly our kids, because it's like, oh, they're kids running around doing the most. Right. So almost losing him, it makes me appreciate him and the smallest little things, appreciating those things with him. I think, that I definitely took for granted before we knew about all these things he has going on.
I think the greatest thing one thing I love about my son more than anything, I'm the prototypical father wasn't there type of person. So my son has always been my greatest. I'm challenging myself to be a great father to him, to raise him right, to make him happy. the one thing that's always been given back to me fully that I always never anticipated. I never anticipated the joy that my son would bring to me. I never anticipated the joy, struggle or not, that I get with my child.
It's also like the most. I apologize for interrupting.
You're fine.
It's like the purest love, like the most genuine love you can ever get from a person. Because there's no, it's not like you owe him anything, or you know what I mean, like anything like that. He just loves you because you're his dad, and he loves you because I'm his mom. Like just that simply.
I mean, he doesn't even understand the blessing that he has that I'm his dad. You understand what I'm saying? Like the blessing that it's me came from my balls.
What I tried to do.
It's me.
See what he did.
No, understand? Like he could be anybody's kid, but he's mine, son. You understand what I'm talking about? A black king out here, black excellence, B. He's mine, son. You understand? I'm just sorry. Let me bring it back. My son being my son is something that I've cherished. I've cherished every day of it. I've never run from it. I've never run from the obligation to leave a legacy built within him. Another question that was asked was, what was the biggest compromise that you have had to make being with this beard, with being with me? What's the biggest compromise that you've had to make for each of us within our relationship? I know mine, but I want to know yours.
My biggest compromise?
So I know how your room used to be now and your room is now.
Well, that's still the same. You're very messy. Don't like to clean up after yourself.
I don't know how true that is.
Socks stink.
My socks do not. My socks don't stink, B. At the beginning, when I didn't have money and I couldn't read, I really ain't had no.
Your socks still stink now because you like to wear the same socks more than once, and it's
that
really
ain't true.
Gross.
Nah,
you
son.
Stand up all day and you just put the same socks on.
I don't double up on socks, B. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't be doubling up on socks. Maybe sometimes my shoes stink, but my socks don't be. I don't be doubling up.
We'll just say the feet.
The feet.
I don't know. I mean, my biggest compromise was probably. I don't know. I hate repeating myself. Because I grew up in a household where my parents were adamant about it. I'm only telling you this one time. And so I think with you, consistency has always been an issue. So me having to repeat myself or explain the same thing over and over again is like so redundant, and it just drives me crazy sometimes.
Simple. For me, my biggest compromise is no longer being the sexiest person in my relationship. You feel me? My whole life, I was that guy. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? And we walk outside in the streets. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have to date the ugly ones. You know what I mean? The ugly ducklings. So that way, just put more light on me. But when you date somebody that's just organically more beautiful than you. You just I'm humble. I was humbled to be with you, just because.
You're so extra.
I think probably the biggest compromise I've had to make being with you is time. I'm so used to, all right, it's time to get it. Let's go get it. Let's 100%, 24/7. Let's just go get it. 100%. Let's go get it. But with you, I've had to take time to slow down. I've had to take time to slow down. I had to make sure that I was being patient with you, that I was being, that I was doing the right things. And that's been the most fun part. Is creating time and making time to just chill. So, I'm very happy that we are in the position that we're in now. Just taking everything one step at a time. But go ahead, babe, talk to him. Come on. I'm gonna give you the free reign. I mean, ladies run the show right now. So,
do you guys have any questions for us? I don't know who all is live or not.
Nah. Tell you what. Hey, what? Let me give you a topic. You are a beautiful entrepreneur. It's 2 compliments in one. You know what? Tremonte just put a question in here. What don't you like about the Wave Report? Here we go. Good job, Tay.
Honestly.
Disappear for those. Nah.
Honestly, Tremonte, or a nice answer?
No, be honest. We only speak honestly about in the Wave Report. You know what I mean?
I had a cup of tea though.
Nah. Just don't be shady. You feel me? You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Never that.
Talk to me.
What I don't like about the Wave Report?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think you guys talk about sex too much.
Whoa.
That's what I think.
You think we talk about sex too much? You know what? I mean, I could agree.
That's what I think.
What else do you not like about the Wave Report?
That's the biggest one. I think you guys talk about sex too much. I don't think that I want to know about everybody. I mean, maybe it's a personal thing. I don't want to know about everybody's ins and outs of their sex life and what they like, what they don't like, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a bit much for me. And I'm not a prude in any way, shape, or form, but I just think it's a bit much.
What do you like the most about what we do on the Wave Report?
The camaraderie.
Okay. The brotherhood.
The 3 of you guys. I think that's very nice.
You got a favorite episode?
I haven't even watched them all, so I can't speak to that.
You got a favorite episode that you watched?
No.
Okay.
I don't. If you want to be honest, no, I don't.
What do you love about marriage the most?
That I have someone to share my life with. Because I'm an introvert, but at the same time, the people that I enjoy spending time with, I want to spend time with them. And I want to share my life and memories and things like that. So.
When I think about our marriage, I love what we share. I love what we build. You know, the things I used to not find to be appealing is different now. Like I really love what we have. I really do. I love what we have. The best part about, you know, being on a show like The Wave Report is I get to be a part of something, get to be impactful, get to speak my mind, tell the people, you know, how I feel. But, you know, I love it. It's a good time. This is something that I cherish. So, you know, the funny thing is, every time I do a Wave Report episode, people always ask me, where's Lala? Where's Lala? So I got you on here, and I feel like you being shy right now. Like, I really feel like you being shy, my girl. Like, what? Talk to me. It's just me and you. Nobody's here, right? So y'all here, but don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. So, Lala, we, a lot of times people kind of don't understand if we were, you know what? How about this? Easy. What do you not like about the church right now?
I don't like about church in general judgments. Now, in the past, doesn't matter. I don't think that Jesus was walking around judging people. I think he was spreading his light from within and letting that shine onto people. And but I think there's a lot of judgment in all kinds of churches, right? All across the board. That's just my opinion, but I think it's a lot of judgment. Okay, so you grew... I answered your question. I don't know what I'm missing.
So you grew up in church.
Yes.
The churches that you used to go to...
Only went to one.
Okay, so
my whole life.
So when you were going to church,
mm-hmm.
if you had to take away one, like, what was the biggest message or lesson that was taught to you while you were in church?
To give and it shall be given back to you.
Do you feel like that message is applied in actuality?
I think that it is, but it's taken out of context in the church.
Explain.
I don't think that the more, this is just my opinion, don't nobody kill me and start messaging me or whatever. I don't think that I have to give all of my money to the church to be able to thrive and prosper in my individual life. My dad taught me this lesson. You can give in so many different ways. You can give by feeding the homeless. You can give by going and volunteering at schools, and all these different ways of you giving. It doesn't have to be monies, so I think that that's something that's taken out of context, and you see a lot of these old grandmothers or mothers who are just constantly giving to the church, and then they're going back home and their houses are falling apart, or they can't pay their light bill. And it's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be that you're giving and then that money is just going out to help the community and all of these things. And I think sometimes it gets a little convoluted when you see these pastors with private jets and Bentleys and all of these things, and it makes me question, where is that money going, and is it being used for the right purposes? And I think sometimes initially when churches are built, that can be the focus and that is the core of it. Mm-hmm. But then somehow that changes and then it turns into, oh, I have all this fame or money and I'm a televangelist, and then it just gets, so messed up. But that's what I think.
If you could change one thing about the church, what would it be?
To not judge people. Because I don't think that's the place of the church, to judge people. I think the place of the church is to love and to support. It's supposed to be a place of solace, right, for people.
Okay.
A place where you can go to build your faith and make it stronger. So I think that's what I would change, is to no judgments and just to be accepting of people who they are, the way that they are, and let all of that old school thinking, let that go to the dust.
Switching gears for a sec. What is anxiety to you?
This is like a heavy thing.
This is what we talked about on the way before. Listen,
heavy.
What is anxiety to you? Because there's a lot of people who may suffer with or deal with anxiety. So, what is anxiety to you?
Oh my goodness!
And is it something and how do you manage yours?
Whew. My
That's
God.
good.
Anxiety's hard. I don't know. Everyone, I guess, who deals with it probably deals with it a little bit differently. I never had anxiety, or at least I was never diagnosed or anything with anxiety until after my son started having seizures when he was a toddler, or a baby, actually, I should say, not even a toddler yet. And that was my first real, or at least that I can remember, real experience with anxiety. So, because I never had that feeling, or I can't remember ever having that feeling before. Mm-hmm. So, so now I have an extremely, extremely bad anxiety due to the fact that my son has a chronic illness, and it's a chronic illness that heightens those type of reactions and emotions inside of if you're the caregiver inside of your body. So, because it's a constant traumatic situation that you're dealing with over and over and over and over and over again. So your brain doesn't process it really well. So for me, it's something that is a constant that I'm working through. It's a constant, it's something I don't allow myself to give into, but it's a work in progress. It never goes away. It's always there. You're always on edge. And with epilepsy, you can't, or a caregiver of someone with epilepsy, you can't really calm down enough to, or you can't be too calm because you have to be alert enough to be prepared in case something happens or whatever. So it's a really like, it's like literally like a tightrope or like a double-edged sword, whatever term people want to use for it. But But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mine is, everyone deals with it in a different type of way. So I can't really speak to that in a general term. But for me, it's really just trying to calm myself down and get through whatever is causing that anxiety. So.
Well, let me say 3 things. Be very easy on this. As far as anxiety goes, I have to apologize. I used to think anxiety and depression were trash. I used to think it didn't exist. I used to think anxiety and depression didn't exist. I used to think it was something that was this mythical thing that people said they were going through to get out of something. Oh, I'm dealing with anxiety. Oh, he just don't want to, go, he don't want to handle his business, or it's something he's trying to escape out of, or it was a scapegoat. Anytime somebody needed to do something and it was they out. And I got to really apologize for that. I was uneducated about it. I didn't understand the impact of it until I had to deal with it directly. I've dealt with depression before, but where I'm from, I was taught you always keep moving, you always keep going, you never stop, you never take time to actually give up on something or deal with something. I was always taught to bury it, keep burying it under the rug, put it under the rug. Just
that's a part of our culture, you know.
That was what I was. That was what I was taught. What I now understand fully is anxiety is real, and anxiety is a lot of it's trauma. A lot of people deal with trauma quite frequently, and you can't discredit it. You can't discount worthlessness. You can't discount the feeling of, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen.
Or even if you grow up that way, if you grow up in an environment, especially in a hood type of environment, and there's shootings all the time, or, like you're always looking over your shoulder, and like all these things, like that's anxiety, but you grow up and you can't talk about that.
I mean, I've said this
you're
to
not allowed to talk about that.
That's a fact. I've said this to somebody before. Literally, I've had my whole life, I only thought about, all right, well, what we doing today? We in the streets. What we doing? Let's do something. I never thought about the mother. If somebody died, all right, homie died, cool. That's sad. We're gonna plan the funeral, do everything. I never thought about the moment the mother gets that news. I never thought about that until small interactions between my own child. I never thought about what trauma does to the intended until it became personalized for myself, which I 100% to anybody who's ever dealt with depression, dealt with anxiety, dealt with trauma, I apologize to you, because it's something you can't discount. It's something you can't understand until you actually are within it. And a lot of people take trauma and they take issues that people go through and they really underplay it and they downplay it, and that's never a good thing. So for anybody who ever deals with trauma, who deals with depression, who deals with anything like that, please know that my prayers and my thoughts are to you. You can always hit us up in the Wave Report DM, and we will happily put a prayer in and try to see what we can do to help you out. But I don't discount it anymore. I recognize that it has a place and it has a value, and that it is something that can be overcome. Now let's rewind, because I said something about church. I've been told that I'm a little censored on this topic. I've been told that I don't really speak my mind on this. So let me be real, okay? I have been in and out of church between things that I do in my life. With all the trauma that I have from church experiences, the only thing that has survived is my love for God. People literally, when you don't know somebody, you don't understand somebody's struggles or whatever they go through, the first thing you do is you typecast what's going on. I meet people, let's say battle rap. I battle rap. June 12th or July 12th, I got a PG coming up. Make sure y'all pull up. Anyway, but within my battle rap, the entire community, since they've met me, they know that I'm a Christian. But anybody I go against as an opponent, their first angle is, we're going to talk about the church. Everything that I've gone through, I can never be part of a bigger church. I try to stick to a small group, and the reason being is because I'm for the people. I'm not for the structure. The structure has caused so much torment, has caused so much trauma, has caused so much pain for not only myself, others, and my others in family, others who aren't family. I've seen a lot, and it's tough to see it and then still believe. It's tough to see it and still believe that everything is perfect. I don't believe that it's perfect. I don't believe it's sunshine, rainbows, butterflies, or anything like that. There's a community, a hip-hop community inside the church. It's called the CHH community. I've seen them do a lot of infighting, a lot of bickering.
Sorry.
And while I still count myself as somebody within that community, what has survived my entire life, what has survived the most, is just simply my love for God. I'll never denounce it. I'll never placate it to use or none of that. My love for God is the only thing that survived it. My belief that Jesus is my Lord and Savior is the only thing that survived it. Because the structure of it has caused me so much pain, it's caused others so much pain. So the church, while I love a lot of y'all within it, sometimes we lie and we don't admit when something is trash. I can say that the structure of a lot of the churches that I have been to have been trash. I've seen things within it that is called that torment, that experience has torn down me looking to something for solace, to where literally it's left me with just the person that we were supposed to connect with in the church in the first place. We're supposed to go to church to get closer to God. The church got me closer to God by the actions of the church, pretty much making me no longer believe too much in the church, the larger church. Still believe in God fully, but it's just tough. It's torment within it. But there's still hope. And I try to provide that to people and show that to people. There's hope in small groups, people who interact with each other directly. There's hope there. The mega churches is just tough for me. Sadly, in my lifetime, I've been to 2 mega churches, and I've seen the structures of both collapse. One up close, 3. 2 of them up close, and one I was there at the beginning of the end, and then seeing it kind of collapse from a distance at the end. But getting off church, back to marriage. You, the viewer watching this, you just see 2 people sitting beside each other. That's cool. If you know me, if you know Lala, it took a lot of work for us to get here. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of self-belief to get here.
This is true.
The biggest thing I can say, and I'll leave this as a question for you as well. The biggest thing that I can say to answer this question is this. The question is, marriage is worth it. Why? Here's why marriage is worth it. For the rest of my life, I get to share with one partner, everything in me that's honest, everything in me that's a flaw, everything in me that is potential come to light, everything in me that is love, everything within me that is my ambition. I get to share with one person the greatest parts and the ugliest parts, and know that within it, I'm not going to be judged. Know that I'm going to be comforted when I'm down. Know that there's going to be a lot of sleepless nights, at least on my part. But if I do fall asleep, I'm going to wake up with a blanket over me. It happens a lot. Those little small things is worth more than gold for me. I grind. If you know me personally, you know there's a lot of sleepless nights for Joe. I'm working. But if you know me personally, then you know there's nothing that would ever come between what I share with my beautiful bride. I love her, and love is cool, but effort is everything. You make a marriage work with effort. Lavielle.
Yes.
Marriage is worth it. Why?
Oh my God. I think that marriage is worth it. Let me say this. I don't think you have to be married to be happy. If you're committed to someone or whatever floats your boat, I mean,
whatever floats your boat. I love that.
Whatever makes you happy, and I live your life. I think people can be together for 50 years and never have a piece of paper that says they're married, because that's all, essentially what a marriage is a piece of paper. Real marriage and real committed relationships are work and, like I said before, patience, compromise, drama.
Talk about it. Talk spicy.
Hard times. Just going through it, and it's really hard, to commit yourself to someone for the rest of your life. That's a long time. My grandparents, we just went to Tennessee to visit my grandparents last week. My grandfather turned 84 and my grandmother turned 90. And they've been together, I think, since my grandfather was 18. They've been together, and I think she was 24, if I'm doing the math right. I don't know. I'm tired, y'all. So that might be wrong math, but I know he was 18. She was a cougar. Get it, Granny. But they've been together all this time, and the love that they have is so genuine, and it's so telling to who they are as individuals, and the way that they genuinely care about one another. But it's also funny because we see them bicker, and as I've grown up, and I've talked to them about their hard times and all these different things. And so I think that in a marriage or any type of committed relationship, you really have to go into it understanding that this isn't a game. This isn't, let's go play house. This isn't, he likes this meal that I cook for him. Like, it's so much more than that. It's finances, it's budget, it's credit, it's raising children if that's your choice. It's dealing with each other's families. It's a million and one different pieces. And so you have to be mentally, emotionally prepared to deal with all of those different pieces before you commit yourself to someone. So that's what I would say. Be prepared for all of that stuff that's going to come, because it's not going to be the same as, you're just dating and we're dating, and it's like
Facts.
It's so great, and whatever, he bought me some shoes. Like, it's more than that. It's a whole lot more. And it's also through the hard stuff, it makes you stronger, and you have beautiful memories, and you have beautiful things that you've experienced with this person that no one can take away from you, right? So that's something also that's absolutely phenomenal that I appreciate about being in a committed relationship. And I know above all else that he has my back, even when even when I'm mad at him or he's mad at me, or whatever the case, I know that he's got my back, and he's going to support me, and he's going to
Mom, let him come here.
He can come here.
Just take the iPad.
I know that he's got my back, and that's something that I appreciate. Come here, buddy.
Come here, man. Let me explain something very, very clear, okay?
What you need, buddy?
My family is awesome.
Moon. Moon. Come here.
So, oh man, it's been a beautiful journey
Put in
with
that
this.
cabinet and give him some chips out of that cabinet.
It's been a beautiful journey. Congrats, Judy, and I got you, Mimi. It's been a beautiful journey to
Is
be
there a
on
big bag of
with
Doritos
her.
in
Oh,
there?
by the way, I seen
that,
you. I
so.
seen it. Wood. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
It's been a great journey
Thank you,
to
buddy.
be on with her, and keep it a bean. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, about what relationships really are supposed to be about. I copycatted a lot of things, and I tell that to anybody who will listen. I copycatted a lot of things when I first started, but I learned a lot, and there's nothing that I hold negative.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just hate to speak on that. Don't try to make your relationship like somebody else's relationship. Don't look at somebody else's relationship and say, "Oh my God, babe, they're so cute," or "Oh, I wish we could be like them," or did it? No. You have to figure out what works for your individual relationship.
Factual.
It's not a problem to be inspired by other people's relationships, but don't completely consume yourself in that. I think for the both of us, particularly, we took a lot and said, "Oh, well, my parents' relationship is this way, or my grandparents' relationship is that way, so this is how it went." And it's like, no, that worked for them. This is our situation, and we have to find out what is going to work for us, and not try to mirror our relationship off of someone else's.
No, that's a fact. I'm gonna be honest.
That's like setting yourself up for failure.
I wanted the Damon Wayans from My Wife and Kids marriage. I used to think that's what it was gonna be like. Or I got my premise and concept of marriage from TV shows, and yeah, ain't no Everybody Loves Raymond in this house. Ain't no My Wife and Kids. Ain't no Cosby. Well, we can't say Cosby Show in general. Anyway, none of those shows were realistic, because you know what those shows don't ever do. They don't never show when you got to wash the dishes. They don't never show the man taking out the trash because the trash come at 7. Ooh, Mr. Trash people. Anyway, they don't never show. They don't never show none of those little basic things that become annoyances within your relationship. They don't show what type of decisions you make when payday. Even let's say both of y'all got the same payday, and you're on bills paid broke week. You understand what I'm saying? They don't show you what to do in bills paid broke week. They don't show you how to blend cultures. My wife is not from the same culture as me. The things that she likes is not the same things that I like.
This is very true.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm a hip hop head. I used to get in the car and blast hip hop every time I got in the car. I got in the car with somebody, and music goes off.
I like hip hop, but not. To the
Music
point where
goes
my
off.
Ears are going to explode.
I turn the music up. She turns the music down.
But you like loud noises. I don't. That's why. Because even I turn the TV.
Gunshots, B. I'm used to it.
No, but I'm saying you're from New York, so you're used to all that noise all the
VA
time.
thing.
But I'm saying
I get you.
I'm not that way.
I
grew up on the beach where it's quiet, it's serene, and whatever. So I'm from Tampa. That's not the same thing. So I don't. Not to say that I don't like to play my music loud, but not all the time. You want it loud all the time. But speaking.
But see,
on
those
that,
are little baby compromises.
But speaking on that. Let's talk about, expectations. Don't set yourself up for failure by having expectations on your partner that are unrealistic.
Right.
People do that all the time. Yeah. And you have these expectations and you put them on your partner, and they're either unrealistic or they're in your mind. So it's like, you should know because you're a man and whatever, and it doesn't work that way. And I think for me, I know for a fact I did that in the beginning of our relationship, because I would say, well, my dad did this for my mom, and you should do it for me. But when and then I had to grow as we grew in our relationship. I was like, oh, you're not my dad. You're not going to know these things. Like I have to communicate this to you, and you have to communicate things to me so that we have realistic expectations with one another. Because having those false expectations or expectations that your partner's unaware of is setting your relationship up to fall and to fail.
The funniest thing for me is I had expectations. I I had a lot of expectations in my marriage coming into it. And when I say a lot, I mean like 3. I had like 3 expectations. And I'm going to keep it a being. Like, marriage humbles you. Marriage teaches you how to temper your expectations, but then also how to be great, it teaches you I can't ignore one party within what I want. So I got to take care of me, got to take care of the star player, but I got to take care of her at the same time. So it's like, those little things that used to annoy me don't. When I first came to Florida, like, all of y'all Negroes in Florida love the air conditioning. I understand now. However, I'm a windows down kind of person. I drive with the windows down. You see this hair? You can't drive with the windows down.
He didn't understand.
I didn't get that at first.
Love bugs. Everybody from Florida.
There's no love bugs.
Everybody from Florida, raise your hand. Love bugs. He didn't understand.
Nah, exactly. Even after the love bugs. Even when we move beyond the love bugs.
Humidity. People in Florida. Humidity.
I'm a windows down
he didn't
person.
Understand.
I'm a windows open.
Black girls with black girl hair, okay?
Hey, listen.
We don't do humidity.
Listen. I'm a windows open kind of person. Like, right now, in Florida, it's hot, right? So if I want to get a little cool in my house, I'd open the windows. With her, got to cut the AC on. The AC never stops. It never stops in this house. I've understood that about her, though. Like, for me, when it's cold outside, I'll buy a heater. I don't need to cut the heat on in the house. Maybe I'm cheap, but that's just what I do.
You're a New Yorker. That's the difference.
We use heaters.
A lot of houses in New York don't have air conditioning. They do have heaters, but they don't have air conditioning.
Don't make it sound like we that broke.
No, it's not about being broke. It's just what it is.
And I gotta be, it's more VA than New York. So with Virginia, windows open, B. There's no humidity. There's no nothing. Windows open, heater out. That's how we, but you are...
In Florida, we need our air conditioning. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's cool, though. I love it. I love you. I love everything about what we have. And, I know it ain't always easy, but it's dope. You know what I mean? So, it's funny because all of the things that I try to do, all of the things I go out to go search for to do, Shorty got my back. So, she may not like it sometimes.
This is true.
But she got my back. She hate that I work very hard, but she got my back.
I don't hate that you work hard.
Oh, snap!
I don't want you to be a bum.
Grind, son. Nah, I'm always
what do
about.
I not like? It's not that you are grinding. That's not. What is it that I always tell you? Because you'll never be listening to me.
Oh,
balance.
She want me to call. You want me to balance everything
and have
out.
Communication.
I mean, balance is cool, but I think
you have a wife, you have a child.
I like new balance. You know what I mean? New balance. That's my thing. You know what I mean? So I'm out here.
Story of my life.
I'm out here in these streets. Feel me? But appreciate y'all tuning in. We just wanted to keep it light. Just wanted to talk about a few things.
Do you guys have any questions for us before?
Feel free to ask any questions.
Get off of this live.
I'm gonna go ahead and promo real quick. July 12th, Joe Waters versus I don't really even matter. The Bricks Lounge in Tampa, Florida will be a live stream potentially for you to watch. I'll be dropping that in my link. Got a little commercial dropping for y'all, kinda in about like 5 days or so. Also, therapy's coming back July 18th. Believe that? No, July 19th. No, July. Whatever the first Thursday is after July 12th. So boom. Actually, it's July 18th. So yeah, therapy coming back. Therapy shops is coming back up. We're gonna be having leggings. We're gonna have a lot more stuff for the ladies. I was told that I didn't have enough women-oriented stuff, so we're gonna be actually dropping a whole line for the ladies. There'll be a whole lady collection of all of the stuff y'all wear. I don't really know.
And if you want something custom.
And everything custom. Everything. I'm only putting one colorway on the site because you guys can customize everything. So if you want to buy a shirt like my Black Excellence shirt, you can buy that shirt. And if you want to customize it, all you got to do is put in the comments. There'll be an option to customize all your colors and it won't cost you a dime. Feel me? So, appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure y'all follow The Wave. At The Wave Report 813 on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. So I appreciate y'all. It's your boy Joe Waters. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Lala, any last words?
No.
Catch up with y'all in a bit, man. Hey, stay black, stay real. You know what I mean? I don't even know where that came from. That's just a new phrase.
One time for your mind, two times for the grind. Watch out.